Welcome back, everyone. How are you today? This is Jake from a Tiny Farm with Jake and Willis, and today we're going to be diving into the world of dehydrated fruit. I know it doesn't sound all that exciting, but hey, whether you're a seasoned chef or a kitchen newbie, there's something exciting about transforming these dried delights into mouth-watering creations. And in an emergency situation, these dried pieces of goodness can be transformed so that they're more than a sweet snack. They can actually be something that makes life a little bit sweeter. First up, let's talk about reconstituting dehydrated fruit. This simple process involves bringing dried fruits back to life by adding moisture. I'll show you how to rehydrate bananas, apples, citrus fruit, and more. So let's take a look at the dehydrated banana. The banana chips are really tasty. They're very sweet, and when you dehydrate them just right, they're a nice crunchy little treat. But what happens if you are in a situation where you want to make something like a banana bread, and this is all you have? Well, you can reconstitute this, and we're going to do just that by adding some hot water and letting it set overnight. The other thing which I thought of, which is really great for your emergency use, would be baby food. Baby food can store for a length of time if you have it, but what happens if you don't have any baby food on you and you've got a very hungry child? Well, you could take your dehydrated fruits, rehydrate them, pulse them, and create a nice puree for your child. But in the meantime, we're going to look at making some banana bread. I've read it could be anywhere 6 to 8 hours to overnight. I think because this is really dried fruit, overnight is not going to hurt. And I'm going to fill this right up. The good thing about this as well is that the water that you have your bananas soaking in, don't throw that out. In an emergency situation, that becomes another nutritious treat. Dehydrated apple. When rehydrated, you can make a variety of various recipes, but you could also go right for applesauce. And again, this is a nice baby food. So be thinking a little bit outside of the box. This is powdered apple peel. And what this is used for is you can use it in drinks. You can use it to flavor recipes. You can also use it to thicken any kind of boiling fruit that you've got. It's a natural source of pectin, so it will help to thicken that up, and it's a good source of vitamins and minerals. This doesn't look like a lot, but this is dehydrated lemon peel, and it smells amazing. Again, for use in teas, or even if you wanted to make like a lemonade. This has got a little bit, it's kind of rough around the edges. I would probably repulse this again to use it. And but you could use it in a variety of circumstances, whether you're looking for cold mixture, tea and honey, honey and lemon, or if you were flavoring any kind of bread, or you wanted to put some on your meat, a little bit on your salad. That's all a good use for this lemon peel. Remember, it also has vitamin C, so don't throw those peels away. In fact, Hubs actually drinks lemon juice on a daily basis, so I've been collecting these little guys and dehydrating them. And so I've got some that have gone through the bullet, and others that are just sitting in pieces that can be rehydrated as well. You can also buy store-bought dried fruits such as apricots, raisins, prunes. These can also be rehydrated. Now, I've never done that, so I will take a look at what that's like, because these are not cut thin. They are not hard. They're actually, got quite a lot of moisture to them. But used in breads, buns, and I'm not really quite sure about being able to break them down for like a baby food or anything like that. but that's something that we're going to take a look at. Another really great use for your dehydrated fruit is if you have a coffee maker like this that you can put over any heat source and it's got a basket, you can fill this up with your dried fruit. Apples would be amazing. I actually wanted to try that this week. Apples, bananas I wouldn't do, but apples I would do. I would do watermelon, peaches, any berries. I think that would just be an amazing tea. So I've got the boiling water put on top of the dried bananas, and we're going to let them sit. It's 4:11 in the afternoon, and we'll see exactly how long it takes for these to rehydrate. I have no problems with leaving them overnight. I've also read that you could use various types of liquid to rehydrate your your fruits. Bananas, I'm not sure what you could pair with that other than you might want to flavor it with some rum if it was going into a banana bread, and that's something that you had on hand. Definitely, yes, would want to be careful with that. But I've read that you can also dehydrate your citrus fruit with actual fruit juice that will help that to retain its flavor, as well as the apples, the apple slices if you rehydrated that with apple juice as well. But we'll see where we are with the bananas, and then I'll proceed to bake something with them so that I can prove to myself if I've got no bread, no yeast, but I've got dehydrated bananas, I've got dehydrated egg, I've got access to water, I've got access to powdered milk. What can I create? So the bananas have sat overnight. I did put them in the fridge because I didn't want them to spoil. And they are looking like very well done bananas. So I'm going to strain the water off. I'm going to keep the water. I'm going to strain it, and then I'm going to blitz this in the bullet. Not quite sure, but I could use this liquid actually as the water component in a recipe, so good idea to keep it. Otherwise, if you're in a bad situation, this would be a sweet, nutritious, drinkable water to drink. Just take a look at the bananas on top here. What surprised me is that they've kept their form. I thought it would be mush, but no, they have kept their form. Yeah, they've still got texture to them, so I'm just going to lightly blitz them here. Blitzed, and I put them back in the measuring cup, albeit my faulty measuring cup, just to get a sense of what I actually got. I had put in about a cup of the dried bananas and a cup of water, but it's only netting me about a half a cup, so that's something to keep in mind. If you want a full cup of bananas, you'll need to have 2 cups of the dried bananas. So I've got a tablespoon of the dehydrated egg here, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of water and let that sit for about 5 minutes. So this recipe comes off of a blog site, of course. I get a lot of my stuff off of Pinterest, and I've got a Pinterest page set up. I'll be putting the link to that in my channel description. What I like about the blog sites are the written recipes, and they give the nutritional values and the instructions. What I don't like is I just want the recipe. I don't really want to hear that their grandmother made it and what memories it brought back and things like that. I'm thinking of making my own blog site that's just recipes. So people like me can cut to the chase. Yeah. Alright, so that's just going to sit for a few minutes. That was 1 tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons of oil. I'm sure there must be an easier measurement, but whatever. So we're going to mix all that together. Go ahead while I'm waiting for the egg. And we're going to add 1/4 of a cup. Now I've got 1/8 of a cup here. So I'll put 2 of these in with the banana. And then I got to get some oil. Now, this recipe calls for, I think it's something It's like 2 tablespoons plus a teaspoon, or backwards, whatever. I don't understand it. I just can't give one particular measurement, but let's have a look at that. I've just put the egg in there as well. Now, I could have opted to just put the egg in with the dry ingredients and then added the extra moisture to plump up that egg. But this works just fine. So here we have a half cup of flour, a half a teaspoon of baking powder, and a quarter of a teaspoon of baking soda. Into that I put an eighth of a teaspoon of salt, eighth of a teaspoon of cinnamon, and a pinch of nutmeg. Now we're going to incorporate the wet into the dry ingredients. You could have made this with a fresh banana, of course, and you could also make a full-size batch, but just for the purposes of this video, just to show how you can reconstitute your dried fruit and use them for recipes, I didn't want to have any waste, so I went with the recipe that fit how many bananas I had actually reconstituted. I'm going to need 2 hands here. Hobbs had a special request. He wanted some walnuts in here, so just threw some walnuts. The recipe also says that you can add chocolate chips if you have those on hand. Remember that for storing your nuts, you can freeze them, and that way you will prevent them from going rancid. They will go rancid if they're left in your cupboard too long. You can also can them and vacuum pack them there. Same with your chocolate chips. Today we had such a big breakfast. Today will be muffins. So they're ready to go in the oven, 350 for about 18 to 23 minutes. A teaspoonful of what was left from the liquid that the bananas were soaking in, and it is great. So that's a nice little juice. Like I said, this is for your emergency preparedness situation, so this would be nice to give to your kids. Not that, obviously, not a lot here, but certainly you don't want to waste anything. And the other thing you could do is, if you've got a recipe that calls for liquid, this has already got a nice flavor to it. So there's just a few ideas. Don't they look great? Now, as soon as they're cool, I'll let you know how they taste. This is looking good. These taste great, and I would never have known that they're made from dehydrated bananas. What's really great about dried fruit is that they don't take up a lot of space. They're lightweight and they're easily transported. And this is really great, especially if you're in a bug out situation or there's other tough times that might limit the availability of fresh fruits and vegetables. Dehydrating is easy to do, and you can often find overripe fruit at the market. And there you have it, folks. With a little creativity and some dehydrated fruit, the possibilities are endless. Until next time, this is Jake from Tiny Farm with Jake and Willis. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. Become one of the tribe. Together, we'll survive. Oh yes, we will. Yes.